everyone, and welcome to the ID Talk podcast. My name is Tony Vizionis, and I'm here with my lovely friends and my colleagues, Mr. Alex Perala and Mr. Dave Barkley. Hello, fellas.
Hey,
Hi,
Tony.
Tony. Hi, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, Dave said hi twice. Alex, he wins. Today we are joined by Ty McCelleis, product manager at Troy Group, for our first conversation of 2026. Very honored to have you on the show, Ty. Thank you for joining us. Why don't we start off by just giving our audience a rundown of yourself, your background, and what you do at Troy Group?
All right. Ben, thank you for having me on the show. So my name is Ty McCelleis. I'm a product manager for Troy Group. Um, and Troy Group is a company that partners with businesses like insurance companies, banks, to provide secure documentation, whether it be through hardware with custom printers or creating specialty inks. And I've been with the company for about 5 years. In a previous life, I was in the hospitality industry on the casino side.
Oh,
And my primary responsibility was promotions, but not, with the fireworks, glitz, and glamour. I was on more of the security side, um,
okay.
just making sure that the right people claim the prize. And you wouldn't believe how many people will try to fraudulent say that I'm the winner of that prize, or you call my number, or
Yeah,
here's my Players Club card. I need my points so I can get a stake. So my job was using technology to basically help the front line to make sure that we can authenticate people's credentials, whether it be their um, ID or some type of form of military ID, make sure it's legit so they can claim their prize.
that's cool.
And
That's really
yeah,
interesting.
I
Yeah.
did it for the past 20 years. And then I decided to get out of the hospitality business and go into a different direction.
That's cool. That's really interesting. I'm glad you said that you were on the security side and not the like promotion, like handing out flyers on the street.
The hype man.
Um, but that's cool. I mean, I'd imagine that there are, and this is something that we've learned just speaking to various people like throughout the identity verification industry. But there's just so many different IDs and
Yes.
so many different, just like from state to state or department to department, and like how is one person expected to, one organization expected to be able to keep track of all that, to know if something is fraudulent or not. So it's really neat to learn about all the different ways to identify fraud and to prevent it from happening. And I can
Yes.
see why it would be required in the hospitality industry in casinos, but also in what you're doing now with Troy Group.
Yeah, I was
Right.
happy to hear that other people have tried to just show up at a casino and say, "I won. Please give me money."
Yeah.
So now I know that it's not just me who had
Yeah.
that idea, and I
Yeah.
won't try it.
Don't
And,
don't give
and
up,
believe
man.
and believe it or not, this is just a side note. Believe it or not, a lot of that type of fraud is from relatives. Someone claiming
Oh.
prizes for their father or a daughter claiming for their mother because they have the same address, a different name, but they will try to take money from a relative.
Oh,
That
So they're
happens a
trying to
lot.
bilk out their
Not
parents.
strangers.
That's
yeah. That's
human nature is wonderful.
Yeah.
But I guess
So
that gave you like a that sort of like gave you the it's what is it called? Where you like forged through fire. You're like seeing fraud up front, the ugly side of
yeah.
it. And that probably positioned you well to do what you do now with Troy Group.
yeah, and definitely you always in that position, um, trying to get ahead of the fraudsters. If I was in their shoes, how can I get away with the current system? So I'm like constantly thinking, and I admit sometimes people slip by and it's just a learning experience. Like, oh, they got away because they did X, Y, and Z. Well, now I need to close that loop.
Right.
And the powers that be is like, okay, Ty, you got to figure this out before our next big giveaway or grand promotion. So you have security physical security, you have people just running machines, and my job was to, when we have a big event, making sure that the big winners, get their prizes to the right people.
Mhm.
So
This is fascinating. Well, going back to your current position with the Troy
yeah.
Group, why is and which is mostly dealing with documents. Why is document security such a critical issue still, especially in the context of identity and fraud?
Well, it's a critical issue because without document security, that is the easiest way to get past fraud, to do fraud.
Mhm.
If you're not a document is not secure, because most, let me back up. Most important information ends up on a document, whether it be a birth certificate or a driver's license or a land registry. Yes, you can have it online, but that information comes from a document.
Mhm.
And sometimes, if the document is not secure, or if the fraudster learns that it's only a singular layer of security, I can get past that. And in some situations, the physical document will supersede whatever you have online or on your phone. So for me, it's from my position, it's like a document security is your first line of defense from fraud.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier in your previous life, or actually, no, I think maybe you were saying it in the context of your current position, but part of your responsibility is kind of plugging those holes as you see them come up and adapting to fraud, which is true for different industries as well. But what's, in your opinion, what are other organizations not doing correctly, or what are organizations doing um, that is preventing them from staying on top of document security these days?
Now, before I say anything else, I want you to know and your audience that I'm not anti-technology. Right? I love technology. I love where it goes. I love the near field identification, QR codes. I love that. Okay, but
Yeah.
what I think where businesses are missing the mark is that they put a lot of effort into these technologies, and they're forgetting about securing the documents.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's where they're missing. There's just so much more investment into that technology, and they're just missing out on our fraudster. Our fraudster is very opportunistic, right? So
Mm.
if it's easy to do, they can get away with it. They won't try to hack your system. They would just run a copy of your credentials, erase here, add a line there, and it's mine. Hopefully, I can get it past someone.
Right.
Because when they look at it, they're gonna assume, well, the computer could be wrong. I don't know what's
Mm.
going on. IT, I gotta call IT, but once we get that figured out, yeah, sure, you can come on in because this looks okay,
Right.
right?
Hmm. That
So
makes
that's
sense.
why I think many companies are missing that. Of course, technology is great. It's definitely embrace it, but don't forget about the bare bones security where it starts is with high value documents
Right. Like
or
paper's not
credentials.
over yet. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and one of the flagship products they have is a Secure Docs Sentry. Is that right?
Yes. Sure.
Uh, and how does Sentry address the gaps that we're talking about that businesses might overlook in kind of the race to get that high technology security?
Well, the way the secure docs work, it what our technology, we make use of creating customized printers and inks, and the secret sauce is the way we use layered security on a document. So, and also this technology allows you to put security on a document that is print on issuance. So you don't have to go to a special place to get your customized paper stock. Like you can use a plain sheet of paper and run it through the printer, run through our security, and it will have layered security. Now, what are those securities? So the great thing about our technology is that we have many ways of securing your documents. You can go with a standard watermark or micro text, but we also have technology where we can layer in UV reflective print or make it invisible, like you have on your driver's license.
Mhm.
And again, it's totally customizable. I don't want to sound too markety, but it's very, very user friendly type. And if a customer or a business want to use this technology, they don't have to use our templates. The technology can run with whatever document that you have right now and layer security on top of it. So there's no interruption in workflow. You don't have to um, change your whole system of printing. Secure Doc Sentry can be used on your current computer, on your current laptop, your printer, and your paper. So it is very versatile and is very, very accessible for consumers.
That's
Forgive me
cool.
for being like maybe a little bit nerdy about this, but like we've had so many discussions about how digital ID security systems work, and we very rarely get to talk to someone who's dealing with actual like physical IDs. So we genuinely like know less about this stuff. And I'm just curious, like, is there something about the ink itself or different kinds of inks that you use that adds a layer of security? Can you just explain a little more about how that works?
Yes, so the inks themselves, um, every ink or every customer has their own request of what type of reflective ink they want or the color that they want. So for Troy Group, because we creating special inks is our bread and butter, custom
Mm.
inks. So sometimes it could be UV curable type inks where it dries around the paper, reflective, UV reflective, infrared reflective, which is show a little red. Some people would like to have this, I said, overt type of printing where you can see the reflective with using regular light. Some would like to use it to where you have to run a black light over it so you can see it invisible. And those inks are different colors as well. So um, because of our bread and butter, our core competencies, that we can create almost any type of color of ink or make it reflective or invisible to the customer.
Okay.
That's
And do people
wild.
choose inks just based on like their own preference of the customer? Or is there like certain inks that are better for certain things?
It actually depends on the customer's request. It depends
Mm.
on how they been frauded,
Mhm.
so
Mm.
to speak. So if they may have something like something that's real small and could be handled with just a watermark, right? We have some customers say, "Hey, we want to overlay a person's picture in UV ink, make it invisible in red and blue." Right? And we have to make that for them. So some customers they can have it to very complicated. Some customers want something very simple, a even a QR code that is in invisible ink,
Mm.
so they can verify with another machine.
That's
So
wild.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's really cool.
yeah, we don't have like one cookie cut solution that someone can order off the shelf. Most of our customer has like, hey, I've been frauded. This is what happened. Can you fix this?
Yeah.
Right. So that's where we come in.
This is very important for me to say. My 6-year-old Hugo is so into invisible ink right now, and he would just love being one of your customers and just have all these invisible ink options at his
Yeah.
disposal.
Get Hugo on the call. Maybe when we're done,
Yeah.
I He just
we
went
can
for a
talk.
sled. He'll be
He's
back in a
doing the
few
more
hours.
important things. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing the work.
Uh, that's really cool. Yeah, no, like Alex said, I mean, we've had a lot of conversations over the last couple of years and about fraud and stopping fraud. And, fraudsters are constantly evolving and adapting. And it is really cool to hear this side of things. Maybe just give us like, I don't know if this is going to be a good example or a bad
Okay.
example, but I was mentioning earlier how I am going to finally get my shoulder looked at next week for an ultrasound or an X-ray or whatever. So maybe on like a high level for the ultrasound clinic, for example, if they wanted to adopt secure docs and to move
Mhm.
into this sort of thing, uh, what would a business like that do in order to switch over?
Okay. Well, I don't know about radiology, but let's take a hospital, for example.
Yeah, maybe I'll go
And
to the hospital instead. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Go to the hospital and you are in bed and you really want to be you want to leave. You
Mhm.
need certain paper from the hospital to prove your that you can exit, right? Or someone on your behalf could create a fake document with your
Mm,
release papers and
mm,
present it to whomever is at the front door, right? And if that document looks plain, someone can just say, "Hey, here's your name. That checks out." You repeat what's on the paper, and you're free to go.
right.
Now, if the person who's maybe guarding the door at the nurse's station sees this paper and says, "Well, I'm used to seeing a certain logo, certain color, certain invisible or highlighted ink, or some sort of watermark," I can immediately say that this is a fake document. They wouldn't
Right.
have to go into the computer like, well, what's your patient number? Type it in.
Right.
They can say, well, this is not real.
It
If
gets
you want,
stopped right
so
there. Yeah.
someone could like,
Yeah.
or worst case, someone can take someone out the hospital that not to be in the hospital. If you want to like, worst case scenario, kidnap somebody,
Right.
um, from
Yeah.
maybe in a from a home or nursing home, like, hey, here's the papers, everything looks legit. But if it's have secure layers on it, it
Yeah.
may deter someone from attempting that.
So
Right.
Dave, when I'm there next Friday, don't try anything funny.
Sorry, the kidnapping plan is already in place, and I can't change it.
It's
So,
fine.
but
I'll just go along.
just to drill a little bit further down on that, like
Yeah.
when you are giving this solution to the hospital,
Mhm.
what are you giving them? Is it like a specialized printer system? Is there software they need? Like, what does it look like for them?
It is a software, a driver that we'll have to download onto the computer that will be using the solution.
Mhm.
Now, most of our customers, they have their printer, but they want to use what we recommend, and we do have some recommended printers that we feel that are more durable out in the field. The printers that we recommend are not available like at Walmart. I mean, you could
Mhm.
use a simple printer like that, but we tend to get custom printers that are more robust to survive in the environment.
Mhm.
Um, and with those printers, we pretty much know the ins and outs, so we can really customize them for them. So when a customer comes to us, once we do the past interview, we have a suggestion of what will help them the most. And if it's something that's simple, we can say, hey, you just use that software and you can use your own printer you have on your desk. Or if they want something with, very robust layering, 6 to 7 layers of security, we have several printers that we recommend that we can customize for them.
Mhm.
And it's usually maybe a 1 day air quote onboarding process on how to pull up the print queue, how to print something without security, with security, and also teach them how to create their own templates.
Oh, cool.
So let's say they go with a template after their first purchase with us. 6 months later, they want to change something up, or they got a new format of a document. They don't really need to come back to us. They can do the customization themselves. So it's real quick turnaround. They can test a couple of prints, see how it works. If it's nothing or something that they need to change, they'll need to come back to us and do a work order and send it back to them. No reprogramming, everything is right there.
All right. Uh, and setting aside Tony's like hypothetical hospital example, do you have,
Mhm.
I know you have some, like you have a bunch of real deployments and I know you can't
Right.
talk about all of them, but is there like a recent one you can tell us about that kind of illustrates
Yes.
the benefits?
Yes. So we had this customer. The customer was a county in a certain state. I'm not going to say because it's kind of embarrassing. So this particular county, they auction off their vehicles, purchase vehicles. At the end of their use, they will auction them off.
It's
And
like police vehicles or
older police vehicles, construction vehicles, trucks, things of that nature that was purchased by the county originally, and they have this auction every now and then. So their process was the person comes to the auction, they bid. If they win the bid, they would get a bill of sale. They would take that bill of sale to the county office to receive the title, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And what was happening, not often, but it has happened. Someone created a fake bill of sale. Take it to the clerk. Hey, this is my car and this is the VIN number because they're at the show. I'm not at the auction, and they can just write down the VIN number
Mm.
as they're checking it out because you have the right to like look through it, make sure the tires work, and open the engine up, and you can view the VIN number. And they also were able to get their hands on some paper stock that they were using. Now, this paper stock wasn't really customized, but it was specially special paper that they purchased. Someone had a idea to buy the paper, go home, print up the fake bill of sale, come to the county's office. They have the title. They
Mm.
go back to the auctioneer place. I have my title. Give them the keys.
Wow.
And so, in a way, we addressed that basically they wanted the current odometer reading to be
Mm.
placed in a certain area, and that certain area of the document would change throughout the month.
Mm.
So they know that if it's something suspicious about it, they also had a couple of elements from the document and from the bill of sale that is placed on the document. And as far as I know, it really helped them out. I haven't heard from him in a few months. It would happen last summer. I haven't heard from him in a few months, so I think that's a good thing. I haven't
Yeah.
heard from
Yeah.
him.
it's good. No
Yeah.
news is
No
good news.
complaints.
Yeah.
But so that actually resolved their issue with secure documentation. And before then, late last year, I was told that they were identifying fake documents on the spot, and it deterred a lot of more fraudsters. It
Mm.
just wasn't as easy. Once they saw it has changed, the number of fraud just went down dramatically. It just a straight deterrent for them.
That's fascinating. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sounds like, I mean, I don't know if you probably don't have stats about this or something, but do you guys have a sense of how much of this kind of fraud is like organized crime? It sounds pretty organized. Or at least, or
I
it's just
I
like one
don't have
really sharp guy.
numbers, but the
Yeah.
the people that approach Troy for the solution, it sounds familiar. I mean, it's common to have these securities far as on the technology side, but something simple as not enough security on a document itself.
Mm.
So one company might just have a watermark. That's it, but that watermark can be easily copied. So you can add layers on top of layers on top of layers till the fraudster's like, you know what? I really don't want to go through all this trouble to make a
Yeah.
fake document. And businesses tend to forget about that until it happens to them. Like, oh, we only have one level of security, and they will
Mm.
be able to
Yeah.
bypass that. And then
You end up
you
with
got to
six
take it.
fire trucks in one person's
Yeah,
driveway.
right.
Yeah. Which sounds great, but it's
Yeah,
wrong. So don't
but
do it.
they're not good at firefighting.
Right.
That could cause a lot of problems with the fire.
Well, you can always turn on the siren and you can get to work
Yeah.
pretty fast
Yeah,
and just blow through all
Yeah,
the
you
red
get that.
lights and people get
that's
out
what
your
I would
way.
do.
So
I can't even drive, so I would just have fun sitting in the truck pretending. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so but lest our listeners get the wrong idea. I mean, like that's a really interesting example from it sounds like within the US, but Troy Group is working internationally, right? Like there's I believe you've got some other use cases from
yeah,
around the world. Maybe you can't talk about just yet.
but yeah, we do have business internationally, and our most of our customers are let's say in rural areas. We have a couple of customers in Ethiopia where the internet connectivity is not as reliable.
Mm.
mm,
And when you want to, take advantage of that technology, if the internet connectivity is not as reliable. You may be, further away, in the country, or even in their offices, in their bureau offices, that the internet is not that reliable. So they can't really depend on all the time on the network. So
Hmm.
they tend to fall back to, we need to secure our documents from the get-go. So we have a couple of customers in Ethiopia. Most of them are in the land registry. Whereas if you need to prove that you own this land, you can just pull out that document right there, and it has the security on there, and it makes it difficult to copy.
Mhm.
And in some parts of the world, land is the most valuable thing that you to have, and you don't want to leave that up to chance for someone to actually steal it or sell it to someone else without you knowing about it. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, so that we have customers in Ethiopia, in Pakistan. We have customers in Pakistan, and I think Egypt as well. We open up businesses in Egypt and in India.
Hmm.
Now in India, their thing there is kind of different. They have a issue with fake credentials from schools and universities.
Right.
Because right now you can just show a fake transcript. So I went to this university, and most of the time your employer is not going to research on your education. They're going to take your word for it. They see your diploma or see your transcript. Oh, it looks good. You got good grades. You got your master's or PhD at somewhere university. You're hired without. So we're working with a company in India to see if we can get into that market, and basically also with education, to have their transcript printing with secure docs, whether it be invisible ink with the education's institution logo,
Right.
or the student number. So yeah, we try and get into those markets as well.
All
That's
right.
cool. Once again, that's very neat. Just because you like hear and read a lot about the digitization of stuff, and you see these cases across the world where, land registry, like you mentioned, land being incredibly valuable in a lot of places in the world, and figuring out ways to make it easier for farmers to get certain access to whether it's grains or subsidies or whatever. And the big struggle is the reach of internet and technology, and documents are not going away entirely anywhere. So it's really good and interesting to hear that there are ways to cut off fraud when you are relying on documents,
Mhm.
which is often the best case for certain groups of people.
Now, and what I'd like to add to secure documentation, is one thing we actually don't sell, but I'm a very, very supporter of it, is education.
Mhm.
So even with technology and with secure docs, you really have to educate the front end user, or the end user, or the people in your front line, on what is secure, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen this in my past life in the casino world, where we have all the information, the documents are secure, but the front line person is not educated enough to recognize a secure document.
Mhm.
So I really think that just knowing what that document looks like, and the importance of it, like, if take the the dollar bill, for example, or $100 bill, right? If someone gives you $100 bill, you don't have to call in to the treasury with the serial number and to see if it's a real $100 bill, right? You are educated enough to see if there's any doubt. You hold up to the light, you look for that strand, you
Mhm.
see the reflective on it. So you're, educated to find those security markings to feel confident that this is a real dollar bill. Even the weight and feel of the dollar itself, if someone were to slip you a fake bill, you kind of know, hey, this feels kind of light in my hand.
Mhm.
Doesn't
Mm.
doesn't feel
Yeah.
right.
You kind of
So
intuitively know. Yeah.
yeah. So I use that example of the importance of, you know, document security is great, but you really got to end it up with, educating the person that's going to be verifying it. Now, once you
Right.
have that verifier, secure documentation, along with technology, I mean, it makes it a very secure credential.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I
Well,
was
we're
thinking that when
Canadian.
you were telling the story or the talking about your work in India, that if I was hiring Indian like master's graduates, I wouldn't even know to like check their document to see how secure it would be.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've been talking a bit about kind of what I half jokingly call like the case for paper, how like documents are still around. A lot of people on this podcast have been talking about how like documents are on their way out and where people are kind of getting rid of documents and going for like e-wallets and things like
Right.
that. How do you see document security evolving as identity systems become more digital like this?
Well, I think with secure documents, I think it will be further integrated with technology, whereas you have not only QR codes, but integrated RF field indicators inside the document, and have an AI to actually recognize, certain securities on a sheet of paper or the credential just by a visual picture that this is, it identified all the markings. This is a legit credential. So I see it working, in tandem together more in the future.
Yeah, and on that note, and like in line with what you said at the beginning, you were like, I'm not against technology. Like, Troy Group does have a Secure Docs app, right? Like a mobile app that also works together with this whole package.
Yes, it does. It is used from our customers, and basically, it's if it's an option to where you have a QR code that's embedded into the document itself, and you scan it, and it will take you to the print queue of where it was originally printed, and you will see the document on your cell phone or on your mobile device. This is the document that was printed. So yes, we do have that integration.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure, again, like we're covering not just physical documents, but kind of the entire
Yes.
spectrum. Yeah. So Tony mentioned at the top that we're recording this right at the beginning of 2026, and at ID Tech we've been working on sort of a outlook for the year, predictions for the year. So we're really curious to know what you would say. Like, what are you expecting in 2026 in identity technology?
Well, I think that this year is going to be about how to detect AI. I'm sorry, fraud that is powered by AI. I
Mm.
think in the beginning, maybe 2 years ago, everyone was AI this, AI that is going. How can we incorporate this in an identity? How to deter fraud? And but now these fraudsters are using AI against us. So now it's like, okay, how can we use AI to detect AI?
Mhm.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think this, and I don't know the answer to that, but I think this, for industry of in for ID and authentication, I think that's where we're heading to. How can we use AI to defeat AI?
Yeah, here, here.
Good answer. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm accused of being AI powered fraud, so I'm worried about this too.
Usually by me.
Usually by Tony.
Yeah, that's Tony's
But
classic argument.
yeah, this has been really interesting, Ty. What you guys are doing is so fascinating to us, again, just because we kind of get all wrapped up in the digital side these days. I think the whole industry does. And we were talking the other day offline about how we all go to these big industry shows, and there's sort of like almost like a confusion when you start talking about like digital ID or physical ID.
Yeah.
So we share your mission in terms of education, and we really appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us about this, and we hope that you'll come back.
All right. I will. Thank you for having me.
All
Thank
right.
you, Ty.
Thanks
Thanks
so
so
much.
much, Ty.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I thought that was good.